And then that way we have it. I did this yesterday and didn't realize that I hadn't done what I was supposed to do, so it didn't actually record. So we want it to record. Uh, let's see here. And now let's open that back up. There we go. Okay. So is everybody today better? I think every day gets a little bit better. Well, I don't want to do that. Hi, everybody that's coming on. Well, we are going to go ahead and get started, and everybody that comes on we'll just let them catch up with us. So thank you guys all for coming and being here again today. Yesterday I was thinking about something. Usually in my classes I tell everybody where they can locate the restrooms. So in this particular case, you just need to locate your restroom. So wherever they are in your house. But that was my meager attempt at humor. So anyway, we're going to do, I've got to get myself unattached here. We are going to talk today about organizing your financial paperwork, and this is a great class. I love this class because so many times people have absolutely no idea where to get started with organizing their paperwork. And so today what we're going to actually be talking about is the importance of gathering and organizing your financial paperwork, why it's so important to do that, and then just have a little bit of a talk about what to save, where to save it, how long to save it. If you did not get an email directly from me with all of the resources in it, you're going to want to email me and get those resources because they are awesome. So the stuff that we're going to talk about today, I'm going to reference a lot of that stuff that we'll be talking about, and you're going to want to have all of those resources because it's going to help you get everything put together. So yesterday we talked about the decluttering process of kind of minimizing stuff. Now we're going to talk about the decluttering of your paperwork too. So it's not just whoa. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. Just and if you have a question or something, go ahead and put it in the chat box. I'll unmute you as we kind of go along too, just to make sure that everybody has a chance to ask questions and stuff. But I am just going to mute us right now so that we don't have background noises. I've got a 7-year-old in here, so I cannot guarantee that he won't come over and say hi. But anyway, so what I'm going to do today also is I'm going to introduce you and encourage you to doing another thing that's called a financial information binder. So this class is kind of going to be geared towards an information binder, but the whole thing is about just making sure that you know where your stuff is at and how to have it all in an organized place that you can grab and go. So this binder, what it does, and everything that's on the little zip drive that I sent to you in the email, everything is in that zip drive. So if you have any problems getting into that, just let me know and we'll figure out a different way to get it to you. But it has all the materials and resources that you're going to need to start with this. So the what if, and I think that this is kind of, we don't know when a disaster is going to present itself. And in this particular case, I think I'm going to be able to update these slides and put coronavirus in here because of the fact that it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a flood. It doesn't have to be a hurricane or a fire. It can be something that's happening that changes how we do what we normally do. And so people usually in these particular cases have limited amounts of time to evacuate. And they're not fun things to think about, but they happen to people every single day, every normal person. This is the first time in my lifetime that something like this has happened to an entire continent or world or anything else. And so this is really unique in the fact that we're all in this together and we're just gonna plow through it. We can do this. So the question that I have to ask everybody, and I'm going to unmute you for this, is what would you do if you had seconds to evacuate? You just have seconds to evacuate. You don't, you only have like 5 seconds to grab something. What would you grab? Does anybody have ideas? I should have unmuted all of you.
I have some files that are color coded that are easy to grab,
Yes,
like a medical and financial permanent papers file.
absolutely. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about today is having a file, a little file that is available. So one of the things that I've gotten, I'm going to just show you right here. So it's just this little itty bitty manila folder. And these pages are actually listed on your file that I sent to you. And what this is this is called a somewhere file. And what this somewhere file does is it's just a really basic, it is the grab it and go kind of thing. It's what you can grab that has most of your information in it that can help you get whole again. So we'll talk more about this in just a little bit, but that's one of the things, grabbing that. A lot of people forget to grab their husband or their pets or their pictures. There are certain things that people don't usually think to grab when they're running out the door, and so we really want to make sure that you have whatever it is that you need as you're flying out the door. So the what ifs, and I hate what ifs, but they do happen. What if a family member is injured or passes away, or your wallet is lost or stolen, or your home is destroyed? What happens if the bill-paying spouse is called away unexpectedly? What if a business shuts down, or you're at home for work and you can't go back and forth to work? How do you get all of that stuff put together so that it is not such a financial crisis? And so that's one of the things that I do. I haven't introduced myself, and there are several of you that probably don't know who I am. So I'll stop here and tell you. So my name is Karen Ritchell, and I am from the University of Idaho Extension Office, and my job is actually to go out and teach financial education. But I am a little bit of an overachiever, and I started working with people and giving them financial education, and it wasn't enough. And so I am also an accredited financial counselor, and I'm a certified money coach. And what that means is that I can help you with all sorts of things, from figuring out how you're going to make ends meet, to sitting down and doing one-on-one consultations with you in Zoom now for a little while. And so that's one of the things that I do, and all of my services are completely free. So if you need anything, definitely reach out to me. My contact information is on everything. Give me a call, send me an email. We'll sit down and we'll visit. But there's no reason to be afraid. There are so many different resources that are available out there, and I just really want people to know that there is help available, that you don't need to be afraid that you're not going to be able to make ends meet. But with that, what do you need to do? What do you need to know? Do you have the resources that you need to make those financial decisions that you need to make in these cases? So the benefits of having organized records are simple. You have that information right at your fingertips, so that when you do need these, you can easily grab them and take them to whoever you need to take them to, or that you have them laying in front of you. You have proof of purchase and ownership, which is very important in some cases. It also provides guidance for those that are going to be left in charge in case you pass away. Plus, in the case of an emergency or an unexpected event, you know that things are taken care of. So it provides you a little bit more peace of mind than trying to figure out where you're going to dig for the next bill. So what to store and how long to store it. And like any good financial person will tell you, all of this stuff depends. How long it depends, what to keep, it all depends. But I will tell you, your important papers will actually consist of personal or family records, your property records, financial records, and legal information. Those are the main things that you're going to be keeping. So when I say that it depends for how long you keep it, everybody has different stuff and everything has a different code. And so the organizing your important paperworks and record keeping for individuals, there are two different handouts that are in your packet that I emailed you. You'll definitely want to look at those. There are actual charts that tell you this is how long you need to keep your checkbooks. This is how long you need to keep your income taxes. This is how long you need to keep this according to your situation. The IRS also has a publication called Publication 552. They no longer publish it, which I don't know why, but it is also in your handouts. And that publication is still valid. And it is a great guideline for what to keep, the reason for keeping it, and the length of time that you should keep it. All of these things are found in that zip drive that I sent along with your email. So we're not going to talk about how long as much as we are going to talk about where to store. So where to store your items, it really is a case of diversify, diversify, diversify. So you really want to make sure that you have some sort of backup for where your items are stored. There are going to be several different places that you put things. You'll probably have them in your wallet or a home filing system, the fireproof and or floodproof box, and you want to be really careful with those boxes because they are only rated for a certain amount. And so a lot of people think, well, I'm going to get a fireproof box and it's only rated for a certain amount. So they think that that fireproof box is going to be standing there with the chimney, and it's not. So you need to be really careful with which one. Make sure you're checking the rating there. Then the safety deposit box at the bank, and we'll talk about that a little bit more too. And then even an attorney, a relative, or a trusted friend, you can store some of your items there. We're going to talk today about creating a quick information binder for quick access. And when I call it a quick information binder, it's not really, it doesn't even have to be a binder. What I do in classes is we have little binders that we make, and we have little tabs that we stick everything in there. But you will notice that on that zip drive, there are so many different resources in there. You don't need to do a binder. You just need to make sure that you have that kind of information that's in there. So this binder is just a really good backup for in case one of the other locations fails. So in your wallet, what you're going to have in your wallet is just the basic information. You're going to have your personal ID, your driver's license, just a few credit cards, maybe two credit cards are good. Hang on one second. Hey, Bug, be a little quiet, okay, dude? Thanks. We're having a war. We're going to have credit cards. Usually 2 credit cards is a really good number to have in your wallet. Your Medicare and your health insurance card. If your Medicare card has not been switched over, or if you have not switched it over from the old Medicare card, you're going to want to do that. because we don't want to have your social security card or number in your wallet. You'll notice that it is not listed on here anywhere on your wallet, and that is because we don't want to be packing that around with you. You can have your blood type card in there, your organ donor card, any special medical information. One of the things that some people do is they have special medical information for some reason, and I don't know why this is, but if you are incapacitated and you cannot speak, put your medical information in a Ziploc baggie and put it in the freezer. For some reason, that is where medical professionals know to come and look in your freezer for that information. If you're not able to talk and you don't have a medical alert band, you can also put it in your phone. But then if you have a password on your phone, they can't get into it. There's all sorts of different things that you can do to make sure that the medical professionals know what kind of medical information you have. And then also the name and phone number of a family physician is really important in case of an accident or anything. This is just in case somebody has to get that information from you. So in your home filing system, it should be broken down into 3 different files or 3 different areas. Your current files, these are your areas for where your items are going to be most of the time, the things that you're going to be using most of the time. Your bank accounts, your bills, your receipts, loan agreements, some of your medical information, stuff that's just quick that you can just grab. Your permanent files are the things that you don't want to get rid of, your employment or your education records, like your transcripts, that kind of stuff, your paycheck stubs, those kind of things that you would put in there. Health benefit information used to be, before the Obamacare, that we needed to make sure that we validated that we had health insurance for pre-existing conditions. I still don't think that this is a bad idea to show that we have a trail of health benefits that we've had. Then in the last one, this is for dead storage, and this is for the stuff that we don't want to get rid of and that we need to keep indefinitely. And that and some tax records, you don't need to keep those indefinitely, but real estate sold, you'll want to make sure that you keep that, because if there's ever any question of who ownership belongs to, then you have that in hand. So, or at least in a dead file box. So these places, most of the places that you can go for these. So this would be like a filing cabinet, the current files account. The permanent files would probably be a less convenient file box that you would get into, and the dead storage would probably be like a banker box that you would tuck away. You just want to make sure that it's somewhere safe that you can grab it if you need it. So the home and safety deposit box, you can see all of these things in here, and the home safe is awesome. The rule of thumb is that you want it to be heavy enough that if somebody broke into your house, they'd get a hernia trying to lift it. But it's not something that you're not planning on taking it anywhere with you, but it's in a safe spot. So putting it in a hall closet is probably not the best place to put it. Tuck it away someplace where somebody's not likely to go and grab it. Think about the stuff that you're putting in these different things. So the home safe and the safe deposit box can be interchangeable, but when you're doing that, remember that the safe deposit box has some rules. If something were to happen to you and you were the only owner on the safe deposit box and your will or trust was listed in that safe deposit box, listing who your executor was going to be or your representative, they are going to have to go through an awful lot of things to get into that safe deposit box. So depending on the bank, depending on state law, and depending on what is actually permitted by the legal representative, they're going to go through all these different things that saying what needs to take place in order to get into the box to find out who is the actual owner. So if the box is an individual or both the renters are deceased, then they'll have to appoint a representative through the estate to locate the will and other legal documents. So it's a little bit of a time-consuming process, and it's not always the easiest thing. I know that a lot of people will see all these documents up here and think, oh, dang, I don't have any of these. And so one of the other things that I have on the little zip drive that I sent to you is a reference called Replacing Very Important Papers. And so you don't need to have all of these things, but it's a really good idea to know how to get them. And so the Replacing Very Important Papers is a nice thing to have to help you finish off your financial paperwork. So other important documents that you might have are warranties, guarantees, and instruction books. And this is what I talk about in the declutter class as being one of the first places that you can go in and actually start getting rid of some of these things. A lot of times these are the last things that get thrown out, and they're things that we no longer have or that we have passed by the warranty, and we could have actually gotten a new one from the warranty because we tucked it away. So these are all the things that you should have and keep note of someplace. There's all sorts of different things. Make these sections be very personalized. If these things don't pertain to you, don't worry about them, but make sure that you have all of the tools that you're going to need in case something happens. So this is making a plan. So this is the financial information binder, and like I said before, this is just to give you an idea of what you can do and not to give you another project to do. But if you want to do this is kind of it will be nice, because the financial information binder is simply just a binder that you can take with you and go or give to a family member so that they know some very specific things about you. So it is supposed to be a quick access resource in case of an emergency, and that's really all it does for you, is just provide you that information that you're going to need right off the bat. Having a notebook that has copies, not the originals, but copies of these important documents that I just told you about right here are really important. So the original needs to stay in its safe location, but having this information for on the fly is really helpful when your stress level is high and you don't have a lot of time to spare. You can make notations on the original document that where it's stored, or on the document in the folder where it's stored. There's all sorts of different things. So in your little packet also, there is Organizing Financial Paperwork Plus, Starting Your Financial Information Binder, or I conveniently just named it Start Here. So the Start Here part helps you on your disk to figure out exactly how to go about guiding you through this process. So each one of these sections, we're going to talk about a scenario, and I'm going to talk about the different sections in the binder that you could have. So it could happen to you if your spouse or parent became incapacitated and it was your assignment to contact friends or relatives. Where would you find the phone numbers and other needed contact information? Does anybody know, or with your own kids, have you told them where to find this information? Anybody? Yes, no?
Google Contact, and I've shared some of my Google stuff with my kids, but I haven't shared my contact list. I didn't think about them needing it.
Yeah. So I will tell you that I told a little story on my 79-year-old dad yesterday, but I'll tell again. I know none of his friends. He is quite the little social butterfly, but I know none of his friends. And so my dad is probably one of the toughest old birds that there is. He has had 2 strokes, he's had a heart attack, and he is battling cancer right now. And so he is a tough old bird, and he is just kind of plowing through. But when he was in the hospital for these things, my sister and I were standing there, and all these people had started coming in, and we had no idea who most of them were. And one of his best friends from high school came in to see him, and that was literally the first time we had ever heard this man's name. And so these are the kind of things that we sat down with Dad and had this conversation with them. We want to make sure that everybody that you want to know about anything that's going on with you, we need to know who they are and how to get in touch with them. And so, you know, we just kind of go day by day and don't think anything about this, but people need to know who our important people are in our life. So what this could be is in your folder, you could have a couple different directories. You could have a personal and a professional directory, and the personal directory would have names and addresses, phone numbers of relatives and friends that should be contacted in case of an emergency. It would be a good idea if the information on hand was also stored on a computer so that it was easily transferable. But computers also get viruses and cell phones blow up, so all of your data needs to be in a handwritten spot, and also, or a type spot, and also in a computer spot. So make note of who these people are as well. So who's your executor? Are they family members, or do they belong to your spouse? Are they related to you? Are they your son or daughter? Are they friends? Maybe even put special anniversaries and birthdays so you have all that information right at your fingertips. Another thing is making sure that you have that phone list, and this includes your cell phone lists and email addresses as well. This is a challenge because a lot of times people don't even think about their email lists, that they're an important thing to add to it. So for the professional directory, this is anything that contains anything for professionals that you deal with on a daily basis. So your important business contacts, physicians, dentists, clergy, lawyer, accountant, insurance agent, your banker, financial advisor, your funeral director, your real estate agent, maybe your human resource manager at work. This is a really handy tool to have when you're moving as well, because then you just have all of this information right there at your fingertips. So I like having this, and I just actually used our Christmas card list for most of what I do, and just add to that. So it makes it very easy. It's just a nice little Excel file. One of the other things that I have listed on the file is your virtual and all your electronic data. Okay, shh, no, you need to turn it down, please. Okay, go turn it down, please. We have gotten into Wii bowling, and he is actually better than either my husband or I are. he keeps beating us. So, alrighty, it could happen to you. Your wallet has been stolen. You need to get in touch with your credit card companies immediately so you won't be held liable for charges on your stolen credit or debit cards. Where are the toll-free numbers for these accounts? And I'll give you a hint. They're on the back of the credit card. So this is kind of one of those scary things of where do you need to go and digging through all of the information in files and everything. So this section is actually your financial information section, and there is a little section called record of your important paperwork or papers and your summary record. And what these do is that this helps you list out all of your accounts and everything. So it has it all listed out. And so again, the Start Here guide will help you with that if you want to make a binder. But there are also all sorts of different resources that will give you, if you don't want to do the binder, you can do like a little packet. The little packet will help you. And then also like the somewhere file, if you like that better. If you want to just do something simple and easy, that works too. So this is a great place to list all of your locations, like your safe deposit box or your key location, your home safe location and the combination, and other important financial paperwork like websites, email addresses, usernames, all that kind of stuff. Those are a good place to put those as well. I will tell a terribly sad story, and that is several years ago we had one of our extension educators. She was in a terrible car accident, and she passed away very suddenly, and it was a shock to all of us. She was a young gal, and she was not expecting any of this to happen. We weren't expecting any of it to happen. But it was very sad because her parents were trying to collect all of her information and trying to close accounts and trying to get all of her paperwork in line and everything. And it was very difficult because she couldn't do any of this. They couldn't do any of this because they didn't have access to any of her passwords. We couldn't give them any of her passwords because we didn't know where any of them were. And so it was just very, very difficult. I got 186. Awesome, dude. Thanks. So it was very difficult to do this for them and for her, and by having this kind of thing all put together, she would have actually saved a lot of stress for her family. But again, didn't know that this was something that would happen. But also making sure that you are copying all of your wallet contents. A lot of times people don't think about this, but this is a really good thing to copy the front and back of your credit cards and the information that's in your wallet. But it is also a really great way for, go please, that's awesome. That's awesome, dude. Please go. Oh my goodness. Oh, so excited. Sorry, everybody. So anyway, but making sure that you're very careful with the information that you have in that that it doesn't get into the wrong hands. And just another little disclaimer here, always make sure that you take your Social Security card out of your wallet and keep it either in your safety deposit box or your fireproof box at home. Thieves love it when you forget to take that little piece of information out of your wallet, and they glean so much from it. So remember, anytime that you're working with account numbers or important papers, it's always important to protect yourself and your information. And even though this information is really valuable and you have it in the notebook that it's copied, somebody else might want it. So keep the notebook in a safe place where you can easily grab it, but that someone else might not think to take a look at it. I joke about not letting it be the new coffee table book. You really want to make sure that it's tucked away so somebody is not looking through it. So there is another section in here that's called the goals list, and this is a great section to make a contract with yourself. There's a contract in the packet that you're making a goal for your short, intermediate, and long-term goals. So it's just a good idea to keep yourself accountable with all of your goals.
I'm right in the middle of training right now.
So do that one. The other one here that we've got.
Done with this, okay? Okay, bye.
So the other one that we've got here is it could happen to you. You've had a small fire in your home. It destroyed your computer, your stereo, your big screen TV, your wife's wedding ring on the top of the entertainment center, and the piano. Your insurance company will replace these if you can prove that you did in fact own these. Where's your proof and your appraisals? So how can you actually prove that you owned anything? This could be the case in any scenario: a flood, a robbery, a personal tragedy, a disaster. Many folks never get around to inventorying their possessions, and it could really be the difference between recovering and rebuilding from scratch. So one of the other sections in the notebook could be a personal property inventory. And what this does is it provides proof of property value and ownership. It also helps determine the amount of the homeowners and renters insurance that's actually needed. A lot of times what happens is people have way more homeowners or not enough renters insurance, and this just helps make sure that you have the proper amount of insurance. So a lot of times people think that this will never happen to them, and yet it does. And when it does, it is devastating. So the first thing to do is, because we've already decluttered everything, now we're going to go in and videotape or photograph all your personal possessions. Make sure that you open drawers and cabinets and closets and pantries for that full view of all the things that you've decluttered. Take pictures of your furniture and your clothing and your trinkets, everything. Take each room one step at a time. So every room, do this. So like as you're decluttering, just take a picture so that you're just recording everything as you go. You're going to want to make sure that you're recording any important serial numbers that you have, and separate valuable objects like your collections or antiques and jewelry, camera, all that kind of stuff. You're going to want to go through all of those. You'll want to write down your serial numbers, the value, the date of purchase, the purchase price, and the location of the receipt if you have it. Now, I can feel everybody's head blowing up right about now. This is exactly how I feel, but there's a great way to do this. So remember that little thing that we did yesterday, the little life raft thing? So the life raft exercise is exactly why we're doing this, because we think about the stuff that is valuable. Most likely in the event of a fire, let's use a fire, we're not going to want to replace every single vase, where the insurance company, it will give us, if we can prove that we had all these things, they're going to give us a check for the stuff that we can prove and how old it is and everything. But the problem is that most of the stuff when we rebuild, or we're not going to do it exactly the same anyway. So insurance companies have apps on their phone that you can do this, where you can do a video and do the video of everything and then type in the information for it. But they also have depreciated values. So when you are doing your insurance, make sure that you get replacement value and not depreciated value. Usually replacement value is dollars more, like $2 more than having a depreciated value, because what that does is that says that a perfectly good TV that you have that works perfectly well but is 10 years old, it has absolutely no value anymore. But it has a replacement value. So the replacement value will get you a like TV instead of a depreciated value that will give you nothing. So making sure that you know that is very helpful. When you're doing the videotapes or the photographs of everything, that is really for your purposes, not for the insurance purposes. It's so that you can sit down and think about, okay, well, that couch, we bought that in 1985, or we bought that computer last year. So it helps you to go through and think about the things that you need to do. So definitely pace yourself on this part. It is a lot, but remember, you've already decluttered, so you've gotten rid of a good portion of it already. So do it when you move and you're packing your stuff up. That's a great way to inventory. If you buy new stuff, make sure that you're inventorying the stuff when you're bringing it home, so that you don't have a lot of new stuff that you have to inventory. Update it yearly, and definitely photocopy any of those receipts if you need to do that. There is a section in here called household inventory in your handouts that help you to itemize your list, so that's helpful too. I'm going to open it up really quick in case anybody has any questions. I can't see the chat until way at the end. So if anybody has any questions, are we all good so far?
I had a comment.
Okay.
So what I usually do, and I need to update it again, is I just take everything out of my wallet and put it on my copy machine and copy the fronts and backs of everything that's in my wallet. So I have that list in case it's lost or stolen.
And where do you put it?
I have a fire. Well, I have a fire resistant.
Okay. I thought you said you put it on the refrigerator, and that.
Oh no. No, in my document safe. But I just wanted to comment about that too, because I have a document safe in like a rolling frame. So if I need to evacuate, I can just pull the handle up and move my safe, because it's too heavy to carry.
Yeah. Very good. Anybody else? Are we all good?
I have a comment on that.
Okay.
I also do the same, especially with credit cards. But I'm not sure this is correct, but when I'm traveling, I have them stored on my phone in a weirdly named contact. So if something happens to a credit card or passport, it's with me.
Okay.
Wouldn't do me much good if I'm traveling and it's at home.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that is really what you could do is phones are kind of an iffy little thing, and we're going to be doing the identity theft class on Friday, and I'll tell you some more about that. But sometimes if you're traveling, if you could leave them with a trusted family member,
It's a good idea.
that might
It's not a good idea.
that might be a better idea, because if phones are like baby mini wallets, and it is amazing what people can decipher out of phones. And so the less we can put on our phones, the safer we actually are.
Okay.
So, all righty, are we ready to keep going? We just got a little bit more, so.
Go for it.
Okay, so the next one, it could happen to you. The person who normally pays the bills each month has been called out of town for several weeks to help a child or a parent with a medical problem. The other spouse is home, and it's the last week of the month and bills are due for the following week. Do you know what you need to do? This one is a hard one, because a lot of times our spouses, I've tried to sit down with my husband several times, and he's terrified of my system, but my system works. But really figuring out stuff, and this is what can help us right now too, is that if we had a net worth statement, an income and expense statement, a savings and spending plan, and special expenses. I have watched in mortification the news of the people that are coming on the news and talking about how they have absolutely no other resources, which there are so many other resources that are there. But if they had done all of these different things in the event of an emergency, this probably wouldn't be as big of a shock to them right now if they actually knew what they owned, what they owed, how they spent money, and what they could pull back on a little bit. I have amazing resources on what to do when the income dries up, and different things of income loss and everything. So definitely, if you're interested in any of those, definitely get in touch with me about those too. So these are just really good worksheets within the little zip file there. There's one called Take Charge of Your Money that literally walks you through how to do a net worth statement, an income and expense statement, and a spending and savings plan. The special expenses are expenses that you need to think about in case you are leaving someone behind that needs some extra help. So this just lays everything all out, and if somebody has to take over for you, everything is all organized and ready. So the loan papers file, this is for anything that's current, past, or paid off. I did say past and paid off, and the reason why is because even if you've already paid off a loan, it is a really good idea to keep a copy of a document that notes that it was paid in full. If you don't have that proof, a lender can, and usually does, come back and try to collect past debt sometimes. So loans from friends and relatives seldom work out well. So if there is an agreement or a loan, a promissory note that's listed out, it really does help a lot with this if you treat it as a business deal, unless you're just gifting it to them. If you give the loans with the idea that you're never going to get it back, then that's okay. Credit card agreements and debit card agreements. This is an important thing to have in here as well. Just keep a copy of the information in this section along with any miscellaneous debt accounts. And if you bought a computer recently or something, debts that you might have easily overlooked that you're paying a bill to, just think about someone that you love trying to figure out exactly what you're doing, or what you have done, or what you owe. Holy cow, mortgage interest rates have dropped to 4.3% interest on a 30-year mortgage. You need to act fast before these rates go back up. Your mortgage lender needs your W-2 forms and from 2010, 2011, 2012. Where are they? Okay, you gotta wait, dude. Sorry. Go that way. We don't understand the concept of not now. So, so we've got your rental and lease agreements for your mortgage payments, and this is really important. Whether you rent, you lease, you own, whatever, it's really important that you have the copies of this. So this is information that will come in handy in this section. If you own, it provides ownership. If you rent, it lists expectations for you and your landlord. If you are a landlord, keep those lease agreement documents in this section too. After a full and productive life, you have passed on and are about to enter the pearly gates. You are delighted and pleased to have left your spouse and children with thousands in life insurance that will enable them to live a life of luxury while you rest on a white puffy cloud in heaven. The only problem is, do they know where to look for those life insurance policies? Will they remember how many you have and which companies? Will they know the addresses to send those policies and have your marriage and death certificates to collect insurance? The life insurance policy section provides a place where you can actually keep, hold on one second.
Turn on the movie.
Go on. Enough. Okay, sorry. He's been so good all morning. This has been too much for working at home. So it will provide a place for you to keep all of your insurance policies in this section. And unless you keep them in your financial information section, either place would be fine, but it's just important to have all of those listed. The original should be kept in the fireplace proof box, however, and this is actually just for your folder that you have. This is a really great gift to give to your family members when they're grieving the loss. The preparation you make before your death will actually help comfort them in the end. So the rest, these are all the other things that you need to have in your folder or in the reference. So the Social Security benefit statements, if you're not receiving Social Security, these statements used to come yearly, but now they only come if you request them. So definitely get them and request them. Make sure that they're showing the correct information on them. You want that to be correct. They are a free statement, so grab those. The pension benefits, your retirement statements, a lot of times people throw these away. This is a really good idea to keep your retirement statements, at least the yearly statements every year. Once you get the quarterly, you can throw those away, but you want to keep the year benefits so that you have a record of those. Your birth certificates, your immunization records, and Social Security cards, you need to have copies of those so that they have quick access to those. Your credit reports and the FACTA reports. So your credit reports, you can get all three of your credit reports from the three main bureaus from annualcreditreport.com. You can either go online and order those, you can call them, or you can send them the application. And on Friday, we'll be talking about identity theft, and I'll be giving you more information on credit reports. On the FACTA report, what it is it's what the banks know about you. So this is a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have a blank one. The FACTA report lists any bad things that have happened in your bank account. So if you know that there are no bad things, you still want to check them out, just because they will actually tell you if there's something going on in your account that shouldn't be. Paycheck stubs are a good thing to have. You need to make sure that you have those. They're also important to prove residency, so having those. And then another file. This could be for anything from your organization, clubs, pet records, warranties, key location, all sorts of stuff in there. So your notebook is really just limited by the size of the rings that you get. So you can have it as full as you want it to be, but you want it to be a quick access thing. Your notebook contents are completely and totally up to you. The idea behind this notebook is to create a table of contents for you for your original documents. So this stuff is not necessarily meant to be the full retirement statements. It's meant to be the front page. So when people were asked when they had disasters like Katrina and all the other things, when they were asked what they missed the most, people would say that they didn't miss their photos or their furniture or anything. They missed their ability to get right with the world again. So they missed their prescriptions and they missed their insurance policies. They missed the things that were going to help them get back on their feet again. So I know that this is a lot of information and it is very overwhelming, but in our time that we have a lot of time to go through all of our stuff and really think about all the things that we can get together. Think about how wonderful it's going to be. I don't know how many people have taken this class and emailed me back and told me this is so awesome because now I have this pathway of what I need to do and how I need to do it. Just take a little bit of time, and like I said, just do it when you're decluttering. Just make it a date. Everything will come together really quickly and you'll be so glad that you have it. Make sure that you share it with family members. Give them a backup copy or give them a gift of whatever you've come up with, just so that they have everything all listed. This little somewhere file that we've got here is a really good thing to let your family members know about. It has everything in here from who you are, who your spouse is, who your children are, who your financial advisors are, what your physical assets are, your financial assets, any liabilities, where your insurance is at. And for survivors, if there's a will and where it's located, if there's a power of attorney or an executor, if you have a trust, life insurance, military benefits, where your safety deposit box is located and what the box location or number is and the location of keys. Then it also gives you a to-do list of the things that need to be done and notifications, what documents you need to collect and how to settle an estate. And that's all on these little pages that you just glue into a folder, and those are on your zip drive that I sent to you. So this is really truly a living document, so you want to make sure that you update it and keep it up to date. But most importantly, you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself, your identity, and making sure that you're taking care of everything, all your information. And just protect yourself to keep yourself. This is a good way to make sure that all your information is nice and safe. So that was a lot of information in a short amount of time with a lot of interruptions from a little boy, and I apologize for that, but that is the challenge. So I'm gonna take this off. So I'm gonna stop sharing so that you can see me again, and I can check out the chat box and see if there's any chats here that I can answer. If anybody has any questions, I'll love to answer those now. Oh, I don't see. Do I have anybody on here? So I'd love to take any questions if anybody has any questions or comments. Everybody's mic is open again now. So like I said, I did record this, so you can, if you want a copy of this, I can share this with you.
Karen, may I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I haven't had a chance to look at that zip drive that you sent us, but that last document that you showed us, that just with the list of where things are, etc., is that an electronic document? Because to me, it's easier to do things on the computer, and I could keep it up better, and then I can share it with my children electronically.
A-
Is
absolute-
that can you type into it? I mean, is it a live document?
I do not know about that one, but most of these documents are either PDF files or they are Word documents that are
Okay.
on the zip drive. So if they are not typable, we can definitely make them typable. So there are, yeah, most of them are easy to just type into them.
Okay.
And there are several different resources on there that are just typing into them. So.
Okay. That would make it much easier for me anyway.
Yeah, no, and I don't know about this one. I think that this one is. If it isn't, I can contact the gal that did this and see if she can send me the Word document.
Well,
So,
I'll check it out and we'll go from
okay.
there. Thank you.
Yeah, and like what she kept in here, so she made one of these files for each family member. And what she did is called the somewhere file. So when you're looking for it, that's what it's called. But what she had in here is she had a copy of their driver's license, their social security card, their medical insurance cards, passport, birth certificate, and marriage license. And that's what she kept in here. And so like when she would take her grandpa to the doctor, she would take this with her so that she had everything that they would need.
Mhm.
And it was just a very handy tool for her. And so yeah, it's just whatever works for you, whatever document in that. There are tons of them in there, so you don't have to do all of them. So when you start seeing that, don't be overwhelmed by all the ones that are in there. There are tons of them in there that will work.
Thank you. Very good information. Thank you.
Absolutely. Does anybody else have any questions for me? I'm trying to get into my chat box. For some reason it won't open. So let me see if I'm doing something wrong here. Gonna try this one more time and see what I can see. Oh, there we go. Now it's opening up. So I'm just gonna look here. I have a printed out medications list that my husband carries in his wallet, but we also keep it in our Google Drive. So I have access to that in Google. That's awesome. So that is a really important thing. And especially, I will tell you that my husband has a prosthetic eye, and that is a lot of fun because they try to take the pressure on his eye or make it dilate, and of course it won't do either one of those things. And so that is a really good thing to have in there in a wallet or something, to make sure that that you know specific things. So okay, and this is good. This person wrote, my parents took your class a couple years ago. I know that their information is in their safe, and I know the combination. I need to follow suit, and that is true, because we need to share that information back and forth with everybody. So my head is blowing up anyway. I'm sorry. This was a lot of information. It takes a little bit to digest it. So you'll need the weekend to digest everything that I'm telling you in this week, and then next week you'll be all ready to start decluttering and organizing everything. So tomorrow we are going to be doing doing the Who Gets Grandma's Yellow Pie Plate. And what that class is it is great for every age group. What it is it's talking to your family members about what you want to have happen to your things in case of a life transition. So this is a great class, and it is a really tough subject, but it is really a lot of fun. We make it be fun. So if there are no other questions, I'm going to let you guys go. Definitely send me emails if you need any other information. And other than that, I will see, I hope all of you tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming and joining me today. And again, I apologize for all of the wee interruptions. But he did get a turkey, so he got 3 strikes in a row. That is we have that on record now. So thanks everybody so much, and you have a wonderful day today.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.